Here is the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy in shimmery silver over gray Napa leather. This is all new. Third row is standard, turbocharged or hybrid variant, up to 8.3 inches of clearance, over 7 inches more cargo capacity with an increase of towing capacity. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm gonna go over the pros and cons and the problem that I have with the new Santa Fe and comparable rivals. Starting in the front fascia, you'll receive the H-styled daytime runnings that integrate into the light bar with the gloss black honeycomb design for the top portion of the grille, new flat Hyundai badging with the matte black because this is the Calligraphy trim. Underneath this will get a satin aluminum, and the lower is going to have the H style with an active grille shutter and receiving the honeycomb in the lower and the functional air pockets. Front and rear parking sensors and a 360-degree reverse camera. That's going to be options on the limited trim. 7 inches of clearance standard. The XRT is going to go to 8.3 inches, and it'll also have its own unique grille. Underneath the hood is going to house the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged, producing 277 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed dual wet clutch automatic transmission, achieving 20 mpgs for the city because this is the front-wheel drive configuration and 29 mpgs for the highway. And because we have the front-wheel drive configuration, that drops your towing capacity to 3,500 pounds, whereas the all-wheel drive in the XRT will be at 4,500 pounds of towing. Gloss black elements is going to surround the flared out fenders and the lower skirt. That's going to encase 21-inch unique Calligraphy wheels. The limited is going to be a 20-inch. XRT is an 18-inch. LED turn signals integrated on the side view mirror caps with the rear blind spot monitoring, which uses the cameras on the side view mirrors to project when you're using your indicators on the gauge cluster. So you have all that blind spot here, you'll be able to see it on your gauge cluster. Raised roof rails, they can hold 220 pounds. Unfortunately, because it's not the all-wheel drive, we're losing the hidden handle, which would make it a little bit easier to go up. But the Land Rover Defender styling of the vehicle, I think, looks a lot more unique than anyone in class, because this is going to compete with 2 trims of Honda, 2 trims of Toyota, taking it to premium vehicles like Mazda and almost stepping up to Lincoln and Infiniti specs. And when you're thinking about Honda, you're going to be spending more money than this. Yes, they've increased the price around $4 or $5 grand, but you can still get the Calligraphy under $50,000. And if you're trying to get a third row Honda, what kind of vehicle are you going to go to? It's going to be the Pilot. That's going to go up to $60,000. And as for Toyota, you'd have to go up into the Highlander, in which both of those vehicles are going to be around 60 grand, because the RAV4, it doesn't have a third row. The CR-V doesn't either, nor does the HR-V. So when people are going to say, well, it doesn't really compete against that, hello, it's a third row vehicle. LED tail lights, you're going to get the H-style coming into the rear with that 80s vibe with the flat badging in the matte black. The lower gets the gloss black with the enlarged exhaust tip. And I like how they cleaned it up, because even though it has an 80s vibe, you don't see the rear windshield wiper. It's tucked underneath the lower roof spoiler. Power liftgate going into 14.6 cubic feet behind the third row. The entrance is kind of easy because it just rolls inwards. You'll have a little bit of storage. And to split fold the third row, pull these levers. It's going to fold out at a 50-50 split. It's going to increase cargo to 40.5 cubic feet. You have a 12-volt charger. And in the back, you can do this for the captain's seat. So electronically move forward, maxing cargo to 79.6 cubic feet, which is around 7 cubic feet more than the prior gen. And now you'll have access to that home plug. Premium Napa leather heated and ventilated front seats. The H-Tech seats start on the SEL. We have 16-way power seat adjustment for the driver. And when you push this, check this thing out. Now, obviously, you're not going to use this to drive, but if you're at a rest area, you can just relax. Memory for the driver. Headroom for the Santa Fe and leg room. The refresh has added interior space, and when you're in the limited trim, you have the UVC protectant, which you push this, and that's what this glove box is. You have another storage, your actual glove box here, with the ambient lighting with 64 different colors. Heads-up display is only going to be on the Calligraphy trim, as well as this micro suede headliner and a digital rear view mirror. The dual panel moonroof setup can be on the limited trim. The curved one panel, two screen layout is going to be on all except the 12.3 starts on the limited trim for the gauge cluster. On the center infotainment screen, you'll have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wirelessly, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Click here. Hyundai Pay, Blue Link, put it into reverse, and we have a 360-degree reverse camera full trajectory that starts on the limited trim. You can change different layouts for the camera. And it has a 360 so you can go all around the vehicle. Dual climate control settings with a touchpad for your climate control. The driving mode select, which you have a total of 3 different driving modes. And to change the gauge cluster layout, you have to go into the center cluster, go to setup, go to screen layout, make sure it's on cluster theme. And here you can have it as a classic, or you could have it as simple. You could change the graphics with a leather wrap steering wheel. It's heated, multi-function, with the paddle shifts. The gear lever is now on the steering column, so it frees up space here. His and her wireless charging pad, because this is the Calligraphy. Otherwise, a wireless charging pad starts on the SEL, and the key fob for the new Santa Fe. And this here is for the remote forward and backwards for your smart parking. It's gonna be soft to touch. It opens up this way. You can pull this out here, and it's a deep storage pocket. LED interior lights are standard, and you have a full pass-through Bose upgraded sound system, and the door is going to have some soft materials where it needs to be. Kind of has that Land Rover Defender style in the interior. You get the wood inlays with a medium-sized storage pocket. For the second row, headroom and leg room, storage behind both of the front seats, area that you can hang up some clothes with the USB ports. And you can open this up from the back. And you also have more storage when you slide this open. With a full pass-through, the manual sunshades will start on the limited trim. And the door is going to have the same configuration with the heated seat switch on the door panel, 2 cup or bottle holders in the top, 1 in the bottom. And because this is the Calligraphy, you have power seat adjustment for the second row. To go into the back, push the button here. It's going to slide forward and electronically move forward for you so you can enter with cup holders on both sides. USB port. The home plug is here. It's more accessible when these seats are down for cargo, and this will turn up and down the fan speed for the rear with air vents. A large window and headroom. It's actually doable. As for leg space, not too much of a problem. It does bulge out, but you still have a sufficient amount to fit 2 adults my dimensions. 277 horsepower front-wheel drive with 311 pound-feet of torque. Now, when you push the throttle, there is some turbo lag. However, when you're in sport mode, you don't feel hardly any of it. The Calligraphy is the best trim to get. The Limited is the sweet spot, as well as the XRT, but then you're not getting leather seats, and you're sacrificing with the gauge cluster. So I would say try to stick between the Limited and the Calligraphy trim so you get all the bells and whistles. And if you want the towing, you got to go up to the all-wheel drive to get the 4,500 pounds. Around 7 cubic feet of storage more than the prior gen. Maneuverability, you can get in and out of lanes easy. It doesn't actually feel that much longer than the prior gen, even though they have increased the width and the length. Ground clearance is still good at 7 inches. And the way the dashboard is lower than, say, the Palisade, it actually feels like you're sitting up a little bit higher than 7 inches of clearance. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is the value that you're getting. You get a his and her wireless charging pad. No vehicle does this right now. Increase the towing, standard 3rd row, standard turbocharged, or you can option a hybrid variant. So if you don't like the dual wet clutch automatic transmission, jump into the hybrid variant. Get better MPGs and you get a 6-speed automatic transmission. Rear blind spot monitoring. This is only found in Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis, which gives you the camera in the gauge cluster. That's more safety than Honda, Toyota, and even going up to luxury like Acura, Infiniti, and Lincoln. Turn radius at a stop point is about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Now on the cons, because it's front wheel drive and 21-inch wheels, it gets wheel happy. So you can't really go too much more, 2.5 to 3 RPM, otherwise it's gonna start spinning. The seat configuration is comfortable, but I feel like I'm on top of the headliner, and because the dash is lower, I feel like I'm sitting on top of the hood, which makes it a little bit of an awkward drive position. The safety features are good. It literally will tell you things behind you, on the side of you, in front of you, so it just makes sure that you're alert full stop. Now, there's no way I would be able to race something like that, but you know, people have to do what they like to do with their vehicles. Sound deadening isn't bad as long as you don't have something that has that much exhaust note. And going against the rivals, I mean, they need to step up their game because Hyundai has really pushed to a more premium level, outclassing Honda and Toyota and putting it to the top tier of Honda and Toyota, and you're getting a savings of $5,000 to $10,000 minimum. And if you're thinking Acura, Lincoln, and Infiniti, I mean, you can be $15,000 to $20,000 easy, and you're not going to get a his and her wireless charging pad. A digital rear view mirror and a 360-degree reverse camera, Honda doesn't even option that. Now, when you go into the Pilot, it does, but then you see where I'm talking. Over $10,000 difference in price, and you're getting nearly the same capabilities here. So is it better to option them or get the best-in-class warranty? Is there problems with the vehicle? Yeah, I mean, people have had some problems with the dual wet clutch automatic transmission. They've had some glitches with the electronic components with the vehicles. This is a new variant. This is things that are common with any refresh vehicle. So if you are nervous about it, then I would say wait 6 months to a year for the 25 model so they can kind of polish out any of the problems that are implemented with the new Santa Fe, because hands down, third row variant, fully loaded, under 50 grand, no vehicle is going to be able to compete with this. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Gettle Hyundai of Lakewood for giving us this 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy for a car review.